Now, as reactions trail the misinterpretation of President Buhari's comments on the non-utilization of foreign exchange for the importation of food into the country, an economic analyst says the policy is not new, as the restrictions have helped in closing gaps harming the economy. Earlier, I had an interview with Professor Ken Ife, an economic analyst, on the development. Joining us now in the studio to shed more light on the issue before us is Professor Ken Ife, an economic analyst. It's nice to have you in our studio.
Thank you very much.
All right, what is your take on the central bank governor's comments regarding the importation of food and non-food items?
Well, the comment is not new.
Okay.
Because the policy is not new. The policy was in 2016 when the country was in dire straits. We had a central bank that its revenue, monthly revenue in dollars, dropped from $3.2 billion to $1 billion and had to face a request of $4.66 billion every month. So they tried everything they could, macro-prudential measures, capital account control measures. It didn't work. And then they had to face demand management. Okay. And that was why they restricted those 43 items. So what has happened today now is because the president is pushing more and giving more support and more emphasis and saying to CBN, go for 10 value chains. I want you to support that rigorously. Now, I'm strongly behind you more than ever on restricting Forex to some items of food import.
But more items will go on the restriction list. How will this move improve our economy?
Well, the idea is this. You are conserving as much Forex as you have so that you can support primary and priority imports like machineries, like arms, that thing that we need, that the country needs more badly. Two, you are trying to support the growth of your own economy by creating employment and by increasing food supply. You know the reason why you still have inflation in double digit. It's simply because of agriculture. The food basket sub-index is still 13.1%, while the actual inflation has gone down to 11.1%. But the core inflation when you remove food basket is 8.8. So yeah, we should have long been in single digit.
Of course.
So this issue about food has to be tackled head on. And I think that is what is going on right now. The president has thrown support to particular value chains 10 and then says to CBN, please support this, and whatever it is, don't use your little scarce resource on importing these things that we know we can produce. So you are helping the demand side of the equation, as well as the supply side. So supply of resource from intervention fund, CBN intervention funds, and then demand, creating the demand by asking government agencies, you have to buy local, you have to support local. It does not use the word ban. I haven't had that.
Restriction is the word. Restriction.
Even restriction is not even saying restrict the import. It's saying don't provide the Forex you do not have.
Okay.
And there's no treaty that says you should.
Integrity. With this policy on ground, which has been on ground for a very long time, do you see the issue of standardization being addressed?
Of course, it's part of this in the mix.
Okay.
It is in the mix. Remember, the Anchor Brewers program works around an anchor who guarantees quality, who introduces the correct seedlings, and who trains the outgrowers, and who helps them and supply them the correct fertilizer needed for the particular crop in the particular area, and then walk them through, and then repurchase all that was produced of good quality, and then either export or process for the market. So there is quality assurance written all over the chain. So, you know, it's not in isolation.
It is not in isolation. Do we see food sufficiency for the future?
Yeah, food sufficiency is a moving target because we produce over 100 million metric tons of food. And they're talking about different things. We have sorghum, millet, rice, that very thing. I know that rice, we are very close to that.
Very close.
But there are many other value chains that we are focusing on to ensure food sufficiency. But I have to tell you that it's still a moving target because one of the challenges that we have is that our agroecological footprint is shrinking because of the conflict in the northeast, and then the banditry in the northwest, then the crisis in the middle belt. That's the farmer had a crisis. Of course, you have other types of forms of crisis in the south. But the thing is that why this is going on and farmers are percolating into IDP camps, they are dissuaded from farming, and then you still have to feed them. So it's the double whammy. then of course your food is very cheap to all the people surrounding you, the French countries.
Yes.
And because it's cheap, they're buying them. So trailers and trailers, hundreds of them are crossing the border with food that is cheap, and so they're buying them. So we are having the knock-on effect that food basket prices are going up. So, but we could do more. But that is about mechanization, and more science and technology are coming into food production.
All right.
But you also want to make sure that the market is going to be there for the things we are producing.
All right. So Ken Ife there on the foreign exchange policy.